welcome Solex Nation. We are going to start off a little bit differently today. We have a request. We have actually gotten a lot of requests from you for testimonials. You want to hear about other people's experiences with AO Scan. And so we're asking you to send us your testimonials.
Yep.
We would like them in video form, and we're going to give you something for them. So
okay.
let me line it up, and then I'll tell you what we're going to give you. So we would love a video, 5 minutes or less, and send that video to solex@solexllc.com. You have until the end of June to send that in. We will use it here on these calls, possibly in other places, so please be okay with that, knowing that that's what we're going to do with them. But if you get those to us by the end of June, every single person, whether we use those videos or don't, we will give you a 6-pack of the Alpha3 Passes.
Yes, that's
so
great.
We'll just put those into your account and you get those for free. Now, we do need to be careful about claims. So that's the only disclaimer, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. I mean, but if it's your experience and your personal experience, you can tell exactly what happened to you as far as what you saw.
Things that
felt,
changed.
all of those things can be expressed for sure.
Okay.
So please go ahead and do that. We have another announcement, a reminder. We're closing in on our Legacy Group event, June 10th. Starts on June 10th. It's a couple hours of material. You'll have access to that throughout the weekend. There's some announcements and even a surprise for those who will be attending that from the Legacy Group.
Yes.
So we have something for you for that weekend anyways. So we hope you'll join us.
We're so excited. That's just a couple weeks away. We
Yep.
can't wait for that event. Okay, next we want to show you this cool new video to kind of talk more about what we have been announcing over the last few weeks.
All right. You guys, Disneyland is one of my favorite places in the whole world. I've been going since I was a little kid, every year just about, several times a year sometimes. At least I try to. I make every excuse to get there. We want to go on some rides together, so I know that there's several people gunning for this, and I hope you win. Just keep working hard, and we'll take you there in October.
Yeah, you know,
right?
Someone sent me the coolest thing. It was the countdown to Disney, and she had it all mapped out with how many recruits, how many QLAs she wants to have in her direct line, how many she already has, and how many she needs to get. And you know what? Visualize it, because you're going.
It's going to happen.
That's awesome.
Yep.
All right, we had a contest last week on the call.
Yes, yeah.
And we asked you to go onto our YouTube, and do you remember what we had them do?
Yeah, they were going to comment on
Which video they loved the most.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Did you see
But
how
what were they
neither one
gonna
of us
win?
could remember, so we had to help each other? Okay. This is
But I
what
do
you're gonna
remember
win.
what you were going to win. We're going to draw 3 names, and they're going to get a case, not just one packet, but a case
of
12 of the new Hydrogen
We
Plus.
love the hydrogen water.
Yep.
We drink this every single day. We have been drinking this for the last year and a half. We love it. So we're so happy that we get to share it with you now and that it's available.
Yeah, and if you've never done any research on the benefits of adding hydrogen and hydrogen-infused water to your routine, you should take some time there, and we'll help bring some of that information here. But it is some powerful stuff on so many different levels. So
It is.
All right,
All right,
let's do
so
a
we're
drawing.
gonna draw. We're gonna draw 3 names, and again, this is thank you.
Yeah.
This is, you all commented on your favorite video that we've ever done. We opened it up to anything.
Oh, so is the whole video or the segment or any
Anything.
of those? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
This is New Image Lifestyles. The segment that stands out in my mind was when I first heard Loran teach about the use of the supplement library. When I heard him, I immediately recognized that this was a game changer for those of us who have taken handfuls of supplements for years. It's easy to remember when a care provider recommends a particular supplement. What is difficult is to know when your body no longer needs that product. My wife and I have found that many of the supplements we have taken for years are never even called for, or instead of taking a product twice a day, it may only be called for once every 2 or 3 days. Our AO scanner has enabled my wife and I to easily save enough in unnecessary supplement costs to more than pay for our monthly subscription. I love that.
Me too.
Thanks, Loran, for this great service. P.S. My wife was a standard process reseller for many years. Okay, if your name in our back office is not New Image Lifestyles, please give us a call and let us know who you are. But congratulations, thank you for that comment, and you are going to receive a case of our hydrogen water.
Yeah, but only take it when the scanner says to take it.
No.
Everybody needs to be
Yes.
hydrated, so this is a great way to do it. And I love that comment. I remember that, and that's a great reminder for everybody, especially on those months where, boy, that $149 seems to be pretty steep this month. Make sure you're using the supplement library, because there is actual, real, daily savings there.
Yeah.
For all of us who are interested in our health and well-being and like to supplement with micronutrition.
Yes.
And other ways. We don't need everything all the time.
We think we do.
Yeah. Well, it's more of a habit than anything
It
else.
is more of a habit, and it's more of something we think we should do, but it's not always best for our bodies.
Right. The line that Loran always says, and I think it's exactly right, is we're learning to listen to our bodies. And I think that's exactly what that is. Right now, we're just getting some help on the frequency side from the scanner.
That's right.
All right, let's do another.
All right.
Let's
Mix them up.
Okay, this one. Ryan Leggetti. A really helpful segment, if I just had to pick one, was the November 2021 with Deborah Bruce speaking on what the numbers mean. That is a huge question my clients always ask out.
About?
Ask
It might have
about,
been
I
a
think.
typo, but
It looked like a switch. I send them her explanation, and they really get it then. Thank you so much for these trainings. Oh, and your bloopers. Those are my favorite. Ray Lewis, thank you so much. What a wonderful comment. The bloopers are not intentional.
They're not.
But we're
glad you
one
think they're
person's
funny.
enjoying it, right?
We love Deborah Bruce. We love it when she's here.
Yeah.
She knows so much
She just
about
does
frequencies,
such a good
about
job.
the body. She does a great job. So we're glad that you love her too.
Yep. Okay,
All
my
right.
turn to hold that.
All right.
And then let's lift this up.
One more.
Last case.
Okay. Kim Olas. My favorite segment can't be narrowed to just one, but when Deb Bruce shares her knowledge and Loran speaks, those are my favorites. I learn something of value from every single video you put out. Your upbeat, friendly presentations always give me something to smile, laugh, and be grateful for.
Well, that's awesome.
Well,
we're
we're grateful
with
for you.
Yes, thank you so much.
You also are getting the water.
Yep, we'll send it out.
All right, and that's it for the announcements.
Okay.
And we'll get on with the call.
Well, Jake, it's that time again.
All
We're
right.
going to do top enrollers.
And this is going to be from May 16th through the 22nd
That's right.
of May.
Yep. Who tied?
Well, we've got 2 for second place. We have Jody McTavish and Don Kennedy Davis.
Congratulations. That's awesome, isn't it?
Great job, guys.
Well, number 1, first place this week is Rebecca McQuilty. So, Rebecca, congratulations. Congratulations to all of you. So,
And,
thanks for all your good
and
work.
she'll get a coin, right?
She's going to get the legacy
Ooh,
coin.
That's awesome.
Thanks, guys.
Hello, everyone. We're back with Dr. Gursky. I am the new questioner, and Dr. Gursky's the same
old guy.
question. We ask the questions, he gives great answers. But the thing is that we do know is that they're great questions because they're your questions. And so I have the questions in hand, at least a couple of them. Some of them are compounded, so we'll dig through these as we work through them, okay?
There you go.
Let's jump into it.
All
You
right.
ready?
I'm ready.
I don't want to say this is like rapid fire question, but this is, I'm going to ask you a few, and you feel free to elaborate which way you want.
I'm from Texas. We don't rapid fire anything. We just.
That's good. That's good. I understand because I love the Texas pace, period. I'm not from Texas, but somehow I must have some of that blood in me because it works.
Right.
Okay, so let's start with first question.
All right.
Okay. When setting up a profile for a pet, What do you do if you don't know the specific information about the birth month, the year, or the breed?
Okay, so you get as close as you can. Get as close to the breed. You know, if it looks like a shepherd dog, call him a German shepherd. If it looks like a collie dog, call it a collie. The frequency doesn't care what age or what breed that the animal is. However, with diagnostics and with trying to figure out what's going on with the dog, sometimes we need as close to a signalman as we can get. We have more crossbred dogs in the United States than we have anything else, so it's easy to just look at it as a crossbred dog. But like I was mentioning earlier, I'm going to look at different situations. If somebody brings in a 4-month-old Boston Terrier puppy as opposed to a 10-year-old Labrador Retriever, my mind automatically goes to different processes, different disease processes or different pathologies, even with the same symptoms. So we need to get as close as we can, but that works as close as we can. We know a 1-year-old dog from a 10-year-old dog, so just kind of get as close as you can, get as close to the breed as you possibly can.
So it would almost be very similar as if they brought the dog to you and they weren't sure, and you were going to ask how old's the dog, and they're going to say, I don't know, 8, 9, 10 years old.
Exactly.
And so that's giving you a bit of information to know what to do. As far as the scanner goes, we're just trying to narrow down a unique profile for this animal.
Scanner's just picking up what frequencies are where.
Okay. And so that's part of the data that goes into effect when designing a profile. So it's just as unique as any human being's thumbprint. We're doing the same thing with the animal. By collecting a few different pieces of information, this is unique to that animal specifically.
Exactly correct.
Yeah, and then moving forward, as you have been discussing with us with Shelby in previous weeks, and you'll continue to do, there is work to be done once you actually get into the scanning environment. You do a scan, now it's what do I do?
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Continuing questions here. How well can these pets be recognized without all the information, especially remotely? That's a tough one. I mean, you kind of answered that in a way already, I think. But
you know, they have a thumbprint. We know what the animal is, so you know the scan is not going to pick up on the wrong animal.
Yeah.
Whether it's remote or right there in person.
Yeah, because in fact, that was one of your first experiences with the scanner, was a remote scan of a horse, right? And obviously you've delved in and understood better. But just like a phone number is unique to that owner of that phone number, and calling it across the world reaches that number, the profile designed for that animal is unique in all the world.
Exactly.
To that specific animal. And so when the frequency is obviously understood and the profile defined, then sending the frequency to that specific profile is like dialing a phone number to reach that person.
Exactly,
right?
correct. Yeah.
Same thing. Okay.
And the animal can be standing next to another animal, and the information is going to go to the correct animal.
The correct animal.
Just like if they call me or you, you're going to answer your phone, I'm going to answer my phone.
Yep,
Same
exactly.
thing.
Perfect. Okay, another set of questions. This one's an interesting one. This person is very interested to learn to read the reports and analyze better. She scanned a dog about to give birth. The vet was needed as the mom, this mother dog, struggled after having 4 pups. Wasn't sure how to help, what frequencies to offer. 8 pups later, the mom is doing fine. What do you think? Is there a frequency thing that can be done for that situation?
So in an earlier in the weeks past, we talked about this, and of course in phase 2 we talk about this quite a bit. We can't change anything mechanical with a frequency. If I've got a stuck puppy, it doesn't matter what frequency I'm going to send to that dog. I've got to mechanically unstick that puppy, and that needs the assistance of a veterinarian. We may have to go in and cut that thing out. Now, a slowed down, this is where the scan could be very useful. We could scan the frequency for oxytocin into that dog, and it would increase the tone, increase the push and reflexes of the uterus to help expel the puppies. So in the parturition process, we've got several hormones that are going on, and they can get if we've got some inflammation, we've got some things going on, they can be blocked. They can not be the receptors may be blocked for that particular hormone, such as oxytocin, and things may slow down when maybe a shot of oxytocin that's going to last 8 hours may not be exactly what we'd like to do. We might just send the frequency for that oxytocin. There again, you're going to have a pretty good knowledge of physiology and anatomy before you're going to make that decision, and that would be something for a veterinarian or maybe a Solex rep, Solex veterinary rep, something like that could help you make those decisions. But that would be, we're not going to fix anything mechanical. If something's stuck, we got to get it out.
That's a great point. I think we've done several times over the last while of talking about how frequencies that's the field between particles, right? Mm-hmm. Particles are particles, that's the chemistry side of the body, and the frequency is the other side. But I loved how you touched on the idea that frequencies can prepare the reception of the particle or the chemical. We've talked about, I've given the example in the past, is you can't frequency your way into consuming an apple.
Right.
Right, you're not going to get the nutrient. But you can send the frequencies of the apple to the body so that when you consume it, the body is more ready and able to recognize it and make the right use of it.
Right.
So it does for the dog.
And you may not get the adverse effects from the apple when the body is more receptive to using the apple in the way that it needs to use the apple.
Right. That's wonderful. And I think with that, when you think about pets and all of your animals, that scanning them on a regular basis for their well-being, whether they're old, young, whatever it might be, circumstances, they're pregnant, they're about to give birth, you can do things with the scanner to get their frequency state
exactly
in line, ready for whatever activities in front of them.
Let the body get ready for what the body's supposed to do.
Yep, I love that. Yep. You guys, just another wealth, a few key questions, great information, hopefully a new angle and perspective on knowing what you can do with the scanner with your pets. So, Dr. Gursky, thanks for being here.
Appreciate you.
You know, it's been a long time since we've sat down with Loran and asked questions from you, and so we thought we would do that today.
Good.
You ready for this?
I am.
Okay, I'm just going to read a few questions that have come in on Facebook. The first one is, I'm curious why I get different supplement recommendations when I run the quick scan multiple times in a row without listening to the audio or taking suggested supplements. Or if I do the quick scan immediately after an easy scan without listening to harmonics yet, I will also get different supplement recommendations. I'm wondering what this means.
Okay. This question is really a good question. It's a multifaceted question. It has lots of angles. So let's hit it one at a time. First of all, we do a scan once. You do your easy scan or your quick scan. You want to wait at least an hour before you do another one. If you take your finger and you go out to a river and the river's flowing, you put your finger in, pull it up, and immediately you put it back in. Are you in the same water?
No, you're not.
No, you're not. And we're frequencies. We're measuring frequencies. We're measuring your body's frequencies and comparing it to a library of frequencies in your supplement list. And so when we take your body's frequency at that moment in time, the moment the finger went in the water that first time, and then comparing it to the frequencies of the supplements that are in your library, it's making a comparison. There's a mathematical equation that happens at that moment in time. The scanner, the way it works is it's evaluating, okay, does this frequency match this frequency? And if it does, do I get a good result, a negative result, or a zero response? So when that's done, if you now immediately go in the next 3 to 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and do another scan, whether it's a quick scan, easy scan, or a vitals, you're now measuring the frequencies of your supplement list based on the calculation that was made from the first scan with your supplement. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so your scanner is assuming you took that supplement
Yes.
and aligning those frequencies.
Well, assuming maybe isn't the right word, but it's saying, okay, it's figuring that with this math and this math, this is the new baseline.
Okay.
So I guess assumption would be correct. It's making that assumption that's been done. So, and in a way, your body is already starting to make those frequency nudges based on the information it was just asked. So I know this is a little bit of a step of faith for people. And so I'm going to bring in the esoteric or spiritual or whatever. And for those of you who don't necessarily align with that, just humor me for a minute. But when you kneel down and you make a prayer to your God, when you're done with that prayer, do you immediately, well, maybe you didn't hear that. Maybe I should say it again.
I've never done that.
We wouldn't do that,
No.
you know. And so you either are learning to trust your scanner or you don't. And that's something that you need to basically come to grips with. Is this device that you have in your hand, has it proven to you over time that the results coming back to you are in line?
Right.
Okay, and so learn to trust you, not even the scanner, because the scanner is basically just giving you it's basically a mirror of your frequencies. And so when you're looking at that and it's giving you this reflection of your frequencies, you need to learn to say, okay, do I trust my body? Do I trust that? I mean, we all get those nudges. We sometimes, you'll get a sixth sense, or
Yeah.
you'll feel it in your gut. Mothers are really good at this. They can generally sense when a child is not well or potentially in danger. It's a sense that we have. We just need to learn how to listen to it. You know, a long time ago, Shelby, I told people the scanner is really a stepping stone. The day will come when this scan, we'll look back and say, people actually use this? Because we'll have actually evolved emotionally, spiritually, physically, to the point where we are listening to our body and understand it. This scanner is only here, it's basically the training wheels on your bicycle. It's to teach you how to listen and therefore trust what your body is saying to you. So let's go back to the question, Shelby. You do your scan, you do it once, and either follow that advice or wait another hour or two before you do it again. So scan, follow the advice. You know, so many of the people that are using this and have really become good at their supplement library, have done it correctly and are using it every day, the response we're getting back from people is it's dead on.
Right.
And so
Your scanner gets to know you.
Exactly. The scanner is really an extension of you. And the more you scan, the more it understands how you respond. So bottom line is, trust your scanner, do it once.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, next question. What would be considered a normal amount of double reds to pop up on the vitals portion of the Easy Scan, especially for someone just beginning to scan and optimize? Would that number go down with regular use of Easy Scan?
Okay. This is another really good question. What is a normal double reds or lots of reds to see on a scan? Really depends on a lot of things. Did you just eat? Did you have a good night's sleep? Did you just drink a Coke or a Dr. Pepper or some other piece of poison? Are you under a lot of stress? All of these factor in to the result of your scanner. Reds, whether they're a 1 or a 9, in and of themselves aren't things you should be afraid of or worried about. They are indicators that you are out of balance.
It's information.
It's just information. Okay, so if you get a lot of 1s or 9s, or even 2s and 8s, sit down and do an assessment. Okay, where am I emotionally right now? Where am I spiritually? Where am I nutritionally? Am I under a lot of stress? Am I worried about something? Because all of these things, remember, we are looking at frequency disruptions in your body. We're not looking at chemistry, but those frequency disruptions are going to affect our chemistry. So if you see a lot of reds, well, then take an assessment and say, okay, maybe I need to change. And if you see them consistently,
That's
same
when
thing,
it starts to affect your chemistry, right?
Yeah, and that's when you really need to pay attention and say,
Right.
okay, I need to make some changes. I need to make either lifestyle changes or relationship changes or dietary changes.
What would you say, seeing those reds consistently, what do you mean by consistently? Do you mean 3 scans? Do you mean a week? Do you mean a month?
I would say if you see a consistent 9 or a 1 on the same item, 3 scans in a row, and I scan every day. I recommend you should do either an easy scan or a quick scan or a full scan every day. My inner voice I do at least once, and generally 2 or 3 times a day, because my emotions are always in an ebb and flow.
You know what, though? You are one of the most even keel people that I know. And I really do attribute that to inner voice. Because I know that some of the stresses that you have and some of the situations that you go through. And when you keep it together, I think that is a lot, that I attribute that work being done with the inner voice. Do you think that's right?
Well, I would agree that the inner voice is a major contributor to the way I maintain moods. Don't always maintain them great, but I try.
You do a good job.
But look at yourselves. Sit down and think. When you're doing your inner voice on a regular basis, do you feel that your day goes better? We've seen so many people comment about how good inner voice is making them feel.
Yeah.
And really, guys, if you remember way in the beginning, inner voice was the seed that started the mobile scanner.
Right.
That's what started this whole movement.
You were going to leave it at inner voice, weren't you?
I was going to leave it at inner voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's that valuable.
It's that valuable.
Okay, we're gonna have you answer just one more question today. But I just want to remind you that if you have questions that you would like Loran to answer, or if you have questions for any of us here, go to our Facebook group, and that is Solex AO Scan Official, and ask the question there, and then we try to get to as many of those as we can on these weekly updates. And I know the last few weeks we have had Loran not on here as much. We've had a lot of guests, and we've loved having them so much. But we are getting back to having Loran answer some more of your questions, because we know how much you love that. So we'll do one more today. If someone gets selenium as a 9 under toxicities and wants to take a supplement, Irish sea moss, which has a high amount of selenium, is this an issue? And what does it really mean when we get things that show up in toxicities? Does it mean that we have too much of that? Is it still okay for her to take the Irish moss?
Okay, so whenever you're dealing with a toxicity when it comes to a supplement or a mineral or a vitamin, a 9 can not necessarily mean you have too much, although that is generally the case. But a 9 can also mean your body is so depleted that it's screaming for that particular supplement. So you have to look at your report in its entirety, not just, you can't look at just one thing and make an assumption. Is it a 9 and you look at the rest of the things, okay, I don't have enough. And it's not always that you have too much, even though that is primarily the case, you have too much. But look at it all. But in this particular case with selenium, in the toxicities, mostly when you see a toxicity like in selenium, that would be more avoiding a selenium supplement, like a pill. And whenever you're taking selenium, it needs to be L-selenamide, okay, not selenium. L-selenamide is generally non-toxic to the system. The body can flush it. So always look for the L-selenamide. But in this case, she's referring to, or he's referring to a food, not a pill, right? Irish moss?
So a supplement.
Oh, it's a
Irish
supplement.
sea moss supplement.
So if it's truly just a sea moss, in a lot of cases, those types of sources of a supplement like this, your body's able to flush. Now, if you're concerned about this, I would go back and I would scan for 2 or 3 days and see if that toxicity stays at a 9 consistently. And if it does, then I would err on the side of safety and avoid it. But it generally, a supplement that's in actually a food is less likely to be a problem as one that's been extracted down to just the supplement itself.
Okay.
Okay?
That makes sense.
All right.
Okay, well, as always, we appreciate you answering these questions, and
Great.
come back next week because we'll have more of Loran.
Okay, so we had you and Dr. Gursky on this call.
We did.
Not together necessarily.
Not at the same time.
But great information as usual, per usual. So let's do this. Let's have a contest again. We do a contest every week.
Every week.
But we're going to change things up. Not on this YouTube call here on YouTube. Do we want you to comment? I mean, feel free to comment. Tell us the things that you love, and keep to yourself the things you don't.
That's right.
No, I'm just kidding. We're welcoming every bit of feedback along the way. What we do want you to do is do this. Go to our Facebook group, Solex AO Scan Official, and look for the post where we promote this call. On that, you just need to comment.
Okay.
Everybody who comments on this will be entered into the drawing. Now, what do they comment? You can ask a question of Loran for him to answer. Okay, we're going to feel that we're going to get a whole bunch of questions from you that Loran, our resident expert on AO scan technology, like from beginning to end here, AO, he is the one that's going to answer those questions. So you submit a question on that group. We're going to do a drawing for, of course, 3 people.
That's right.
What are we going to give away? Well, we had Dr. Gursky on, and he's
Pets Plus.
Yes, Pets
Pets
Plus.
Plus.
You got our resident pets expert when it comes to scanning, and so Pets Plus. Go onto the YouTube, onto the Facebook page, the group, Solex AO Scan Official. Look for this call. Comment your question for Loran. 3 winners next week.
Thanks, guys. See ya. I don't know where it was, if it was in Spain or Portugal, and they looked at me and said, because they asked where we were from. I said, do you have 2 wives?
Testing. Loran has a pen in his pocket.
Not anymore.
All right, Loran, can you...
Okay, G.